Hey Tyler, we are back on the video. The page it is called South African Lead News, and the handle for this page it is at KZN underscore ZA. The defense is currently getting ready for Section 174 discharge because the state has failed to provide sufficient evidence to convict these guys. But my main hope is that one day the investigators of this case are arrested because of the way they conducted this case. But before I speak about that, on Friday I saw Hernel on Morning Live. In that interview, he was thanking Brigadier Geninda and Advocate Baloyi for the great work that they've done in the Sensmewa case. He further stated that he's thanking them on behalf of the Mewa family, as if the entire family is happy with Geninda and Baloyi. And I just laughed because Sfiso Mewa said this case is a waste of time because the state has got the wrong accused. The same sentiment was shared by his cousin, Mr. Siyabonga Miya. Mr. Miya, remember, he spoke to Kakas FM at some length about this case. He highlighted all the contradictions that were provided by some of the witnesses. So I'm not sure in which capacity Hernel is speaking on because Sfiso Miya terminated his mandate. Somewa terminated the AfriForum mandate, so AfriForum can no longer speak on behalf of the Mewa family. That is a fact. However, because anyway, Hernel is not really the judge, so whatever he says, it's irrelevant in any way. But my hope is that one day the investigators of Docket 636 are investigated and arrested. The Mewa case has shown that some police officials do not do proper investigation, but they just follow their feelings. So if they feel like arresting you, they will do so because they've got the power to do so. And then obviously they will fabricate evidence to make sure that you are found guilty. It's a sad part, but it's reality. In the days after Sensmewa was shot, an innocent man was arrested by the police. They illegally arrested Uzama Uhlembata because Umama Kelly Kumalo falsely pointed him out as being the shooter of Sensmewa. Zama Uhlembata was detained for about 13 days in prison, and now he's suing the state for about 17 million rands. And I pray that he wins because he did not deserve to suffer the way he suffered. I pray that he wins. And Uma Kumalo did not make any mistake because she knew Uzamuhle Mbata very well. Mr. Mbata used to wash Sensmewa's car whenever he was around for Floras visiting the family. So there was no way that Uma Kumalo made a mistake. This shows that the Kumalo family cannot be trusted since they have a history of lying about this case. That's one of the reasons why Baloyi did not bring Uma Kumalo to court, because she would have lied and then she would have been exposed by Advocate Mnisi and Advocate Mshololo. So the Kumalos, they cannot be trusted in this case. The police arrested Uzamuhle Mbata without checking out his alibi. The police arrested Uzamuhle Mbata without checking his cell phone records. Had they checked his cell phone records, then the police would have realized that Mr. Mbata was nowhere near the crime scene on the 26th of October 2014. So the police were supposed to do just a little bit of work. Then they were going to see that Mbata is not involved in this case. Zamohle Mbata's only crime was that he had dreadlocks, the same crime that Kadam Ncube is guilty of. So having dreadlocks in Fosloras is very dangerous because you could be arrested for no reason at all. Zamohle Mbata was later released because the judge said the police did not have sufficient evidence. So Mbata was saved by the court. So after Zamohle Mbata was released from prison, the police were embarrassed. They were ashamed. So they decided to go on a witch hunt to just arrest anyone so that they can solve this case and then close it. They tried to pin the shooting of Sensmewa to the Buthelezi brothers. You know all about Qinisela Buthelezi. But the Buthelezi brothers were very smart because they never signed anything that was brought by Kininda. So the police decided to go after Musibia and Bongani. And to make it worse, the police made it seem like Ntanzi was arrested for the Nongoma case. But that Nongoma case ended without Ntanzi being charged, or ended without Ntanzi having to testify or whatever. If Ntanzi was involved in that Nongoma case, he would have been charged together with Insana Buthelezi, but Ntanzi was never charged. So you can see that the 5 accused before court are innocent, but the police charged them with a crime that they didn't do because they want to close this case. That is the only logical explanation. They want to charge someone and then have them found guilty, and then they'll tell the public that, yes, we have solved this crime. We did a great work, whereas they arrested the wrong people. Then Ntanzi was kept in prison without appearing in court for more than 48 hours, and that is illegal. In South Africa, if you are arrested, by law, you have to appear in court within 48 hours, and that is under Section 51D of the Constitution, and it must be read together with Section 51D of the Criminal Procedure Act. That is the law. The real reason for keeping him in jail for so long was to make sure that Ntanzi makes a confession so that they can use that confession in court. That is the only reason why Ntanzi was arrested, not for the Nongoma case. That should be very clear. Now that Absalom Zungu has revealed how Kininda approached him, we can see that some statements were falsely made. Absalom Zungu alleged that Kininda came to him and offered him money so that he can testify against Bongani Ntanzi and Musibia. Absalom Zungu also alleged that his son, Usizwa Zungu, told him that he is testifying in court because he was promised a promotion within the police hierarchy. So uZungu or Omncane misled the court when he gave evidence. Skumuzo was just reading a script that was written by the police, and he was just a hired gun. That's it. And if you don't know, lying under oath is a criminal offense in this country. So the police and Skumuzo Zungu have a lot of explanation to give once Zungu has spoken to the court. Once Zungu tells the court about Kininda's conduct, then the investigation of the police must be done. He will then have a chance to prove he's innocent. That is Kininda. But you cannot have the police in the system that fabricate evidence. We cannot. My only hope is that the investigators of Docket 636 are thoroughly investigated and then arrested if it is proven that they committed a crime. Because fabrication of evidence, it is an illegal act, which means it is a criminal offense. And also Baloyi needs to be investigated as well, because he may have been aware of Kininda's conduct, but he kept quiet. So Baloyi as well, he needs to be investigated. The state case is based on the fact that there was a mastermind. They told us that accused number 3 entered the Khumalo house with a gun. Then Bongani Ntanzi followed him. But then the people in the house were not able to identify any of them when they were at the police station. But the state wanted us to believe that the statement of Thabang Makeleni is correct. Remember that Thabang Makeleni was far away from the house. But Thabang Makeleni was able to help the police to draw the identity kit, which was then distributed to the media. Clearly, the statement of Thabang Makeleni was fabricated to suit the state's narrative. That's the reason. And the fact that he died of poisoning, it makes you wonder who was responsible for his death. I'm sure you can connect the dots. Then there's a statement by Nthabiseng Mokete, who was also a state witness. She said she saw 3 men running towards the park. She also said that she had 3 gunshots on that day. But Chris Mangena said there were only 2 shots fired on that night. Mangena said one bullet hit the floor and then hit Sandy's leg. He said the second bullet is the one that hit Senzo. So how come Ntabiseng had 3 shots if Mangena only says there were 2 shots? Clearly Ntabiseng misled the court here. So her evidence cannot be taken seriously because she said there were 3 shots fired, but Mangena is saying 2. So you can see that there's a contradiction between the state witnesses, Mangena and Ntabiseng. Clearly, the state they just forgot to tell Ntabiseng that only 2 shots were fired. So that is cooking gone wrong. You cook, but you do not remind your chef to add some salt. That's what happened in this case here. So then they told us that Umusibia and Mapisa were outside. Then accused number 5 was sitting in the car because he was a getaway driver. But Ntabiseng did not see accused number 5 and then this guy and Mapisa. But she said she was outside near the house. So how is that possible? Ntabiseng has got selective amnesia. That's all I can say. And the fact that the DNA expert said all 5 men are excluded from the sample that was taken from the scene proves that the state is lying about Tanzi and Mncube being inside the house. The DNA said they were excluded, meaning that they were not there. To make it worse, the cell phone records of Kadla Mncube shows that his cell phone number pinged at around Johannesburg CBD at the same time that Senzo was shot. That means Mncube was at Johannesburg CBD and not Vosloo. So he's not a shooter because he cannot be in 2 places at once. That is a fact. So the state theory could be more believable if they bring Longo or Kelly Khumalo so that they can have their say and tell us what happened to this case. And Kelly Khumalo has in the past stated that she wanted her day in court, but Baloyi has ignored her. Why, Baloyi? Why don't you bring Kelly Khumalo? Where's Balasastin? Kelly Khumalo could have provided some information to the court because she was in the house. She is an eyewitness. She may help to clarify certain issues that were not clarified by Zandi Khumalo and Mthunzi Tshwala and Tumelo Madlala. Same with Longo. He should have been called to testify in court because he was in the house. But the state is scared to call Longo because Longo may crack under pressure and then put Baloyi under the bus. You know that. So the case that we are currently watching is just a movie. It's just a script that was written by the police. The 5 men that are before court have nothing to do with this case. They were not at the Khumalo house. And I'm hoping that Orata would listen to that Section 174 discharge so that he can make a well and sober judgment. The guys that are before court are not guilty of this crime. The evidence that is before us shows us that. And the evidence kaBabu Absalom Mzungu uyasitshela ukuthi uGininda wafika kuyena wamthembisa imali uma efakaze ecaleni kaSenzomiyiwa. Bathi ufakaza athi uNtanzi noSibiya ba-involved ecaleni likaSenzomiyiwa. But ubaba uZungu because uyindoda eqotho wala wathi ngeke ngikwenze lokho. And uGininda after that allegedly started to harass him and he threatened him. He said they must meet in the field so that they can speak together. Why would they meet in the field in the first place? If Gininda was a proper policeman, he would have called Baba Zungu to come to the police station, not in the field. So the state thinks we are all dumb. But we can see that their evidence does lack common sense. You cannot have a witness that was in the house says the gun had a wheel and then have Mangena on the other side saying that the gun was a 9mm. Those two things cannot be both right at the same time. The state must choose which is which. So if the state fails to choose which gun was the murder weapon, then the judge must acquit these guys because there is reasonable doubt. Once they said the gun had a wheel, it means it was a revolver, meaning that it's a 38 special, not a 9mm. So the state idlala ngathi, and into eyenza kube worse, ama-witnesses ayesendlini wonke abizwanga. Why? Why they were not called? Ngoba abantu abasendlini ibona ababona ngamehlo ukuthi kwenzakalani. Bezokwazi ukuchaza into engazange ichazwe uZandi Khumalo. Mhlawumbe uKelly Khumalo uyositshela into engazange ayibone uZandi, noma sitshela into engazange ibonwe uTumela Madlala, or into engazange ibonwe uMthozi Sithwala. So it is important that bonke abantu abasendlini babizwe ukuze basitshele their own version of the events. But ubalo uyakafuni. And umthetho uthi, as a prosecutor, you must not seek a conviction at all cost. You must look at the evidence before you and then make a sober decision. If as a prosecutor you can see that you do not have a case, you should not charge anyone. Just tell the investigators to continue digging for more. Don't just charge for the sake of charging. So in this country, we are still behind because of such policemen. And the fact that that gun had a wheel, it shows that it's a revolver. The bullet jacket that was found in the crime scene on the following day was clearly planted there on the crime scene. It was just planted there so that they can implicate someone that was not in the house, so that they divert the attention away from Abo Longwe, Abo Kelly Khumalo. That is why they planted that bullet. Sergeant Mosia arrived at the Khumalo house on Sunday, and other police officials like Brigadier Ndlovu also arrived, but they did not find that bullet on that day. But in the morning, they find it. Aibu. Clearly, that bullet was planted there. It's clear. There's no other way of it. So, Kadla Mncube, I think, bamthatha because they already had his gun there, because he was involved in that Cleveland case. So it was easier to link uGadla to the shooting. But ama-telephone records kaGadla ayasho ukuthi wayengekho eFosforus ngesikhathi usenze shona. Yebo, ngiyavuma, on the day wayekhona emini, but when Senzo was shot wayengasekho lapho, wesihambe kudala. So i-judge alikwazi ukumthola guilty because of the facts. And if you really look at this case holistically, what evidence do they have against uMapisa? Lutho. Yet he was charged. So uMapisa, if found guilty, could get life sentence added on his existing sentence. So that is why the lawyers are fighting so hard for these guys. They know that these guys may get a life sentence on top of their sentences that they already have. So it is vitally important that the defense make sure that if Ratta refuses to grant that section 174 discharge, then the defense must just relax and focus on getting all those witnesses that will testify on behalf of the defense. The state case is not solid. So even if Rasa finds them guilty, I'm quite sure that once the case is taken on appeal at the Supreme Court of Appeal in Bloemfontein, those judges will reverse that decision. They'll just say, no, Rasa was wrong because of A, B, C, D, and so on. So I'm praying that the accused and the defense lawyers just remain calm and make sure that once it's their turn to speak, they make sure that they speak from their heart, as well as bring all the witnesses that are relevant to this case. Don't be like Baloyi, who brought us witnesses that are useless. The defense must bring only the relevant witnesses, like Makubo, Absalom Zungu, and then force Ulongotwala to come to court, and force Kelly Khumalo, and then force Umapire, because she's the one that cleaned the crime scene. So she knows what happened. But until then, let us wait for the case to resume on the 7th of August. Thank you for watching.